And now we got Jayson Tatum, who is kind of getting teased in the aftermath of becoming an NBA champion. Um, the internet, the trolls on the internet, are sort of clowning him for trying to imitate other legends in the game in some of the ways that they celebrated after they won their initial championship. So, obviously, if you're into sports, you know the Boston Celtics won the NBA title last night, which was June the 17th, beating the Dallas Mavericks in a gentleman's sweep, 4 games to 1. The Mavericks only managed to muster one victory in that series, unfortunately. But Jayson Tatum is from an ability standpoint, best player on the team at least. And the idea behind this victory for him was vindication because he has a lot of critics, a lot of people questioning whether he's a superstar player, whether he's the best player on his own team, whether he can be the guy who controls a game or controls a series, all of this other stuff. And now he's won his chip, and you can't take that away from him. He is now a champion. But that is not going to stop the internet trolls from taking advantage of an opportunity to make fun of a perceived attempt on his part to sort of channel other great players who won NBA titles before him. So this says Jayson Tatum clowned after trying to copy Kanye West, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Garnett. Last night, Jayson Tatum and the Boston Celtics defeated the Dallas Mavericks to secure their 18th NBA title. Overall, it was a joyous occasion for the city of Boston, especially as the team won at home. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown was crowned Finals MVP after some phenomenal performances. Tatum and Brown are one of the NBA's best duos, and on Monday, they showed the world what they are capable of. In fact, this could very well be the making of a dynasty. Unfortunately, in the midst of his great moment, Jayson Tatum was being clowned by fans online. As we reported, he was first made fun of for his attempt at recreating the Kobe Bryant Larry O'Brien photo. However, he is now catching more heat as he copied two other legends. Below, you can see that he tried to recreate the infamous Kevin Garnett "Anything is Possible" interview from the 2008 Celtics run. Furthermore, he then copied Kanye West's Grammy speech in which he said, "I guess we'll never know." So here is Tatum doing the "I guess we'll never know" thing.
Oh, brother.
Let me.
I know everybody will wonder what would happen if we didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Oh man, what's going on, bro?
Yeah.
Right? Hey, just drop the mic after that.
Oh man. And then this is also this was the people interpreted this as him trying to channel Kevin Garnett after they won.
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it!
Damn, bro.
All right, so then that's that. Responding to the Kanye clip, one person wrote, "Bro got script ready with quotes from all-time greats." Meanwhile, other fans continue to clown on Tatum for seemingly having all of his catchphrases prepared. "Bro, this dude thinks he's on a Disney show," one commenter said. "I really got nothing against Tatum, but everything he does feels forced and corny," wrote another. "For Tatum, none of these comments matter. He is now an NBA champion, and no one can ever take that away from him." So, do you concur with the trolls out there who feels like he's out there putting on an acting job? He's trying to be Kobe, he's trying to be KG, he's trying to be Kanye, and it's just coming off looking kind of fake.
Well, first of all, let me say that Jayson Tatum is one of the most dynamic brothers in the game right now. Okay. I respect the brother tremendously. All right. Dribble, dribble, tween, tween. hezzy step back 3-pointers. One of the best in the game. But the corniness. Hey man, because we've had discussions about the corny things or whatever. Hey, bro, this is what it looked like, dog. I don't know. Listen, those comments summed it up perfectly. Honestly, it's like he's got these things queued up for these moments where, you know what I'm saying, he's just gonna let that fly right there, like it's part of a script. Like the "we did it" thing was so. He was like, "Oh, now's my moment to do something like this, so I can be immortalized in the game." And it's weird, dog. I don't know where that is. I don't know what that is. And for the longest, Tatum to me, great young man. Not seriously, he's a great young man. I think when people started to give him all his praise and all his stuff early, I felt like it was a little too premature. I felt like he had the potential to be great, but he ain't there yet. So let's all pump our brakes. Similar to how they're doing with Anthony Edwards. It's the same type of, oh, look at Tatum. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see him play. So me still watching him over the years, I just wasn't sold on the guy. I just felt like he was just really skilled, and that was it. And I felt like this playoff series, this playoffs run, actually, especially with Jaylen Brown winning both MVPs, it really just separated everything in the sense of, okay, that's kind of what I thought, that yeah, this guy's very talented, but he didn't have that impact on the team as whatever. And I say all this stuff to say is that there was always something about him that was just seemed a little a little off. I don't know what to make of it, bro, but you know what I'm saying? They kind of get at Scotty Barnes for being like on the spectrum, bro, but this is some spectrum behavior, bro. In the sense that it's like, how can you be this oblivious to ripping people off? So I don't know, man. The Kanye thing, the mic drop, the we did it. He copied Angel Reese too. Angel Reese had this thing where she said pretty much to the effect of what they gonna do now, what they gonna say now. And Tatum was like, yeah, what they gonna say now? It's like, bro, so you're just quoting everybody. So yeah, man, be your own writer. Nobody likes people who jack people's styles. Just be authentic and be yourself, man. But I think Tatum really struggles with that as a person, just being his own man. And I think these little examples display itself, and internet trolls is gonna call it out. Me personally, I just looked at it and I looked at it and I was like, man, this is kind of not it. I don't want to call another grown man lame, but that's some lame ass stuff, bro. I'm sorry. So, what are your thoughts, man, on Sir Tatum, man? And why do you feel like the streets has so much animosity towards this young man? Can't he just live?
Yeah, they need to leave him alone, man. Oh, like can he have a moratorium that's at least a couple of weeks so that he can enjoy becoming a winner? Like, I don't want to pile on to the guy, Now I will say this: the "we did it" that was cringe.
That's cringe, bro.
The "we did it" thing came out, and I watched that live. I was watching him live when he said it, and it came off to me as cringe. But here's the thing: Jayson Tatum might just be somebody who's like socially awkward. We talk about this like I think we've talked about stuff like this on this channel. Like, I think we have a tendency to believe that these people have it all together because they are professional athletes and they make a lot of money and they have a lot of, financial and social prestige. So I guess everybody thinks that they got it all together. But these dudes don't be having it all together. You know what I'm saying? We like sometimes when some of their dirty laundry gets, not Jayson Tatum, but other players that we've talked about, where it's like they're dealing with situations with women airing them out publicly. We talk about Zion Williamson, for example. Like, a lot of these guys don't really have fully developed social skills. So for all we like, that's how I read this. I look at Jayson Tatum as somebody who kind of has social atrophy. He probably doesn't really have the best social skills in the world. And when you're somebody who has like kind of a social anxiousness towards you, if you give public speaking remarks or you talk to the media or you speak publicly, it's going to come off awkward and a bit bumpy because that awkwardness just kind of shows itself. So I just kind of feel like it's very, I don't know, it's Russell Wilson esque. It's Russell to me. It's Russell Wilson esque. Like when Russell Wilson signed with the Broncos and he's in he's in the post game press conference talking about Broncos Nation, let's ride. Like
that
was so cheesy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think Russell Wilson is a naturally socially awkward, cheesy person. And I think it comes off to people as corny or whatever word you want to use. It comes off as contrived or you're trying to do something on purpose. I'm not going to put that on the man. I think that he might just be a bit lacking in the social skills department. And like, I think when you lack in a particular modicum of social skills, it manifests itself in ways like that. Like people with social anxiety, and I'm not saying Jayson Tatum has social anxiety, but like social anxiety has several different symptoms. One of them is like an inability to really kind of normally function in social situations. So like when people experience that, they oftentimes have to sort of sit down and map out and calculate how they're going to behave in certain social situations. Like they really go through those steps. What am I going to say? How am I going to act? How am I going to react? How am I going to answer this question? Like they sort of beforehand figure this thing out because they feel as though that's a measure that they have to take in order to be most comfortable in a situation that they otherwise find extraordinarily uncomfortable. Now, I'm personally choosing to give Jayson Tatum the benefit of the doubt that those are some of the mental processes that he goes through. Because, like, otherwise, I'm going to have to jump on the bandwagon with him being lame and corny and kill him. And I just don't want to do that. Like, maybe I'm not in that mood. I just don't want to do that. But it did come off as cringe. Like, the other ones to me are just corny. But the "we did it" one, that came off particularly cringe to me. That came off to me as, I don't really know what to say. I don't have anything to say. So I'm just going to freestyle it right now. And because he's socially awkward, it came off sounding weird. So I think Jayson Tatum is no different than a lot of these other professional athletes who grow up in a tunnel. And because they've been playing ball since they were 2 years old, they've never lived a normal life in which they were permitted to develop normal social skills. And just because he's a 6'8", good-looking guy who's really good at basketball, and he has a whole lot of money, and he does commercials, and he has all of these endorsements, and his life is set, that don't mean that he has adequate social skills. Like I think we know we have enough evidence with some of these other pro athletes that we can conclude that you can reach that mountaintop in that regard without necessarily developing adequate social skills. And I kind of feel like Tatum is just one of those people who just doesn't have adequate social skills. And by the way, he's not the only one on his own team that I would qualify as such, but he's the superstar. They put the microphone in front of his face the most. They demand him to talk the most. So we're going to see it come out of him the most. But I just think he's another one of these pro athletes who just, his social skills need work. And, he might not be required to perfect them because, hey, man, he's about to sign a $350 million contract. This dude's about to make like, what, $70, $80 million a year? Like, he's going to sign the biggest. I firmly believe Jayson Tatum is going to sign the biggest, richest contract in the history of the NBA in, this offseason. When you got that much money, you got a bag like that, who needs social skills? I'm dating LMA. I don't need social skills. So it's not like he's going to be required to develop them. He's always going to be corny. He's probably going to be corny for the rest of his career. And maybe when he retires, he's just not going to be able to go into broadcasting or do media stuff because he doesn't have that natural charisma because he's kind of socially awkward. He's not like Draymond Green who can just do it naturally. And it is what it is. Draymond Green, coincidentally, because I think there's a correlation. You look at somebody like Draymond Green, who is good at this, right? Draymond Green wasn't a superstar. He was more of a grinder. He had to work to get to everything that he got in the NBA. He didn't have the same natural gifts as a Jayson Tatum. Draymond Green wasn't 6'7" with a long wingspan and can dribble, pass, and shoot threes. He wasn't naturally gifted in the same way that Tatum is. So he had to grind his way through it and work at stuff. And I think that there's a correlation between somebody who has to grind at it and somebody who also has adequate social skills. And Jayson Tatum, just like other people, Zion's the same way, just weird, socially awkward, supremely naturally gifted. And so he sort of has a fast track to superstardom. And when you have that fast track to superstardom because you're supremely naturally gifted, certain things are going to be sacrificed along the way, including social skills. So I just kind of feel like Jayson Tatum is socially awkward. But I will admit that those sound bites were pretty cringe. And I just think that we're going to just have to get used to cringe Jayson Tatum. The more he talks, the more the cringiness is going to come out because I just kind of think that he doesn't really have the greatest social skills in the world.
He's not out here attacking anybody or doing anything crazy or, being a wild person. What he does is cringy. He does and says cringy things. And, for somebody out there that's just, for me, that for him to be putting himself in these situations like that, there's a discomfort there. And as you mentioned with social awkwardness, it doesn't have to be there. And that's my problem with this, if you want to call a problem with this, is the fact that people that have that social awkwardness or have this social anxiety or whatever, they don't have to live that way. And just be yourself. And being yourself, it doesn't require. And we talk about being ourselves all the time on this thing anyway. And so I think the thing that I have with these things is when he's out here quoting other people and doing all this stuff, is stand on your own, dog, and be your own man. Yeah, you can be making $70 million a year and not be your own man. Hell, we saw what Diddy was doing and all this other stuff. You can make all the money in the world and still be off, as you mentioned. So yeah, he'll be making money and being corny and awkward on his own, which is fine. But my thing is when people are living, I'm talking about what's your quality of life like? And it's like, yeah, you can have all this money, but what's your quality of life? Because, one would ask that. And if they're not happy enough with themselves and they always got to feel like they got to be in this position to mimic, quote, and do all this other stuff that other people done said and did, then, what's your life about? So, that's pretty much my whole thing about it. It's not a deep indictment. It's not calling him a cornball to dismiss him, to make him a social pariah. It's a situation of, hey, bruh, stand on your own and be your own man and use your own quotes. Pull from your own inspiration. Pull from your own heart in that moment where you're winning the finals. But to sit there and go, I got to say something quotable that's going to go on Disney. We did it. That's corny, bruh. And at that point, you're doing stuff for the weird reasons, not for the genuine reason. That's my thing. So that's my problem with all of this. It just comes off non-authentic. And I'm an authentic dude, and I like authentic people. And I've seen people that make hundreds of millions of dollars that be non-authentic, and I don't jive with them. And I've seen people that made scraps and then are authentic people, and I jive with them all the way. So I think the reason why Tatum catches so much heat on the internet and gets trolled, because other people won championships and they're not getting trolled on that team. It's like, why Tatum? Why Tatum? It's because he does things like this. Nobody else is doing it. So I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for other people when he's out here clearly doing something that's weird. Not everybody does this. He does this. I can't point to nobody else in the NBA that does this. So he's the one that's doing this, and that's why he's the one that's getting pointed fingers at. He needs to stop doing this. You don't have to do this. Stop quoting other people. Just be yourself, dog, and pull from your own inspirations. but he got to do this thing. He got to wear that. He got to do this, and it's all put on. And that's how he played basketball. It's all put on. Dribble, 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 dribble. And it's just all characteristic sets. So my thing is, if you tap into yourself and be more authentic, be you, Jayson Tatum, maybe he'll play basketball better. So, so my thing is, it's not a deep indictment, but I think the reason why he catches so much heat online is because that he comes off, and what we always talk about, being authentic and being your authentic version of yourself, social awkwardness aside, be authentic, bro. And I think he's lacking authenticity. So at least that's my thoughts on this one.
Well, I mean, yeah. At some point, hopefully, he matures and realizes that his corniness is okay. It's a maturation process. I just feel like it's easier said than done. Like, that's a deficiency. So, like, when people have deficiencies in any kind of way, they're going to resort to other things in order to mask those deficiencies.
Yeah.
And so for him and others like him, that social awkwardness is a deficiency. And so those sound bites and everything else that he does is like it's a mechanism that he is utilizing in order to like overcome those deficiencies. To me, I'm not surprised by that, because that's what people do. That's a normal thing that people do. So, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, in his head, he's not saying, "Let me be somebody fake on purpose because my authentic self isn't good enough." I think that he's genuinely just like socially, maybe, I don't know, maybe based upon some of the stuff that I've seen with the way that he does his his interviews and when he talks to the media, sometimes it comes across as like contrived, but I think it's literally because there's an awkwardness that he feels, and so that's what he is utilizing in order to try to reconcile the awkwardness. And hopefully he learns how to do it. But this is not unprecedented. Alex Rodriguez was the same way. Even now, now A-Rod has gotten better, but when Alex Rodriguez was an active player and he would talk to the media, it just was always fake. Like, I would never watch A-Rod and think that he was being an actual human. He just seemed like he was just this combination of different things, and he was just a soundbite machine. So I've seen it before, and now A-Rod's retired and he's whatever he is, 40 something or however old he is. He's a little better at it. He seems more like a normal person now than he was when he was an active player. But I'll just chalk this stuff up to like social awkwardness. I really do. It to me, it's a social skills thing or lack thereof. Tiger sometimes used to give me similar vibes, particularly when he was younger. That's just how some of these people roll. I feel like that's how social awkwardness manifests itself when you're dealing with the media and you're dealing with the fact that when you say stuff, it can be consumed by hundreds of millions of people on, podcasts and ESPN and YouTube and Fox Sports, and everybody can see this, so it's magnified. But he's probably just a socially awkward dude,
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets over it. But I don't want to, I'm going to acknowledge a moratorium on clowning them just because they just won yesterday. I'm gonna give him at least 72 hours, and then maybe I'll jump back on board.
He's gonna do something else cringeworthy later. You're really treating this social awkwardness like mental health. It's like, hey man, he's just socially awkward. Let him slide. It's just
no. I'm not saying let him slide. I'm just saying I'm explaining it. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just providing an explanation.
Oh, okay.
Because I do think I'm not making an excuse. I'm providing an explanation because it is something to work on and overcome in order to become the best version of yourself. So I'm not saying just let it go because it is what it is. I'm just trying to provide the explanation. It's just, I don't know if he will overcome it. He may be awkward for the rest of his career. Who knows? It is what it is.
I think he's on the spectrum, dog. I think he's really on the spectrum, bro. I think that's where we're at with this. I mean, I'm not laughing at that, but I'm just saying I really think that bro is just like, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if he was short bus. And
I
that's what
can't,
that's
I
what I'm
can't
saying.
go. I can't go for that. No, I
Well,
can't
that's
go
what I'm
for that.
saying. And that's what I think he's at with this. Because I think the way he acts, you saw how he dropped the mic. We'll play it back, man. So how he dropped the mic, and I'm like, man, I don't know if this guy's all the way there, bro. Like, I just feel like
That's
he's not a hoop.
that's how awkward people do things. Like that's how awkward people are. They are. I'm telling you, that's how they are. They do stuff like that, trying to be cool, trying to be cool. It's like, bro, stop pretending to be cool and just be yourself. But that's how awkward people do. They just are like, you know, they do stuff like that. You know,
Hey,
how can
man.
I act so that I can come across the way I want people to see me? That's what awkward people do.
Yeah,
I'm not excusing it. Hopefully he overcomes it.
Hey, shout out to Jayson Tatum, man. Congratulations, I guess. But as Heat fans, we're still taking credit for making you guys actually play real basketball for a change.
No, they did not play real basketball. They
Well, you
played
know what
their
I mean.
version. They play okay, yeah.
You know
They
what I'm
played
saying.
their version of basketball, and they got it done because their roster is just perfect.
And we taught them how to
But
scrap a little bit, man. We taught
yeah.
them how to scrap a little bit.
Yeah, shouts out to Jayson Tatum, man. Like and subscribe.